The mantra that we've had the past couple of years is, winning conference is great, but what do we do beyond that? And, last year I feel like we all kind of had a little bit of a hangover, particularly on the women's side from 2015. I don't feel like I did my best coaching job that I've ever done last year, and I'm coming back with a little bit more of an edge and a little bit more emphasis this year, and really looking to focus the team, both teams, men and women, on, okay, conference is nice, but let's go do something else. We want to matter on the NEIA level, a lot of it, it has to be on the athletes. The coaches, we can only preach things so many times. It's got to come down to the athletes, having the internal leadership and the drive to accomplish these things. And so what you really focus in on the coach is who your personnel is, and challenging those members of the team that have leadership ability, and getting them to therefore challenge the rest of the team. Particularly on the women, I so far am loving the leadership structure. We've got excellent leadership on that side, and the men, it's there too, but I will say the men need to come out of their shells a little bit more. We need guys to start challenging each other a little bit more, and so we're looking to stimulate that a little bit more on the men's side. We've got Alyssa Hebb, who's coming in as a junior transfer out of San Bernardino Valley College, phenomenal young woman. She so far is rising to the top of the group. She's taken control more or less of the workouts. She took control of the time trial, and so right now, if I was to put a pecking order on it, she's on top. Real excited about Alyssa coming in on that and coming with instant leadership ability. And then you've got Andrea Gandara out of Kaufman coming in as a freshman, and she's a phenomenal young woman as well. Looking forward to what she brings to the table. So far, she's handled herself very well and in a very mature way. Ione's huge. Ione is one of those athletes that when she, graduated with her undergrad, you hoped that she was going to come back, with that grad school eligibility, and that's in fact what she's done. But for that time that we did not have her, she was sorely missed. The impact was palpable. She just has such a calmness and a certain leadership ability where I feel like the women around her, because she's there, don't want to let her down, and that's what she brings to the table. So it's almost like instant cohesion is what she offers. And that being said, she's also developed herself into a very, very fine runner at that, and we've got some goals that she left on the table, and so we're looking forward to attacking those goals. And she's come in really fit. She's just as fit, as far as I can tell, she was when she left, and I think she's going to be huge for us in all aspects of it. Amy, simply lucky to have her back. She's adding that depth piece that we need because we don't have any, and Amy's shown a lot of improvement. She's somebody that out of high school, compared to the rest of our ladies, was not, a bell cow on any level, but she's worked hard while she's been here, and she's really developed into a better runner. And as long as she continues on that path, she can really help us with displacement at meets. And she brings a lot to the table, and we value her just as much as we value anybody, quite frankly. Sarah, Gabby, they're going to have to be huge for us. They've been huge for us, and they'll have to continue to be that. I've challenged both of them, to have a little bit better perspectives on things than they had last year, and I've challenged both of them to work a little bit harder. Not to say they didn't have success for us last year, but I can tell you that both of them could have done better last year, and so we're looking for those things out of them, this year. Jasmine, you've got a two-time conference champion that's going for her third in a row. She's done her job, but I think there's areas where she can improve on too, and I think she'd agree about that. But the group we have this year, they've created an environment that's conducive to everybody taking the next step in their development. So, you know, and to be able to have that for Jasmine and Gabby their senior year, that kind of stability, I'm really hoping that they don't take that for granted and they appreciate it and can really go to the next level, because, you know, obviously it's it for them. And, you know, when you want to leave on top, and, you know, hopefully Jasmine gets her third in a row. But I also think for Jasmine to get her third in a row, it was important to put girls around her that can possibly beat her. The main newcomer is Andrew. He's a transfer out of Wayland Baptist. He's a kid that we recruited out of high school, and one thing went this way, the other went that way, and he ended up at Wayland for a year, but we're really glad that he's back. He's come in extremely fit, and, you know, I think we're lucky to have him, and, you know, he fits in well with what we're doing here. And so he's doing really well. And then we've got Miguel out of Clark High School here, a local kid, who's so far has blown my expectations away. You know, he was a guy that we wanted to have and we're happy to have, but he's turning into a guy that we need. You know, and so that's all the respect for him in terms of the way he's come in fit and ready to go, and his willingness to go after the top. You know, he's not acting timid. You know, he's in workouts, he's going up there on top and trying to mix it up. And so he's a guy that I've been very pleasantly surprised with, and I hope that he'll continue that mindset and that form. Returners, we've got a few of them. Derek obviously is probably the first name on the list. I mean, everybody knows what he's done here, and that being said, he's got a lot left to accomplish, and I think particularly the way he ended at nationals last year for cross was bitter for everybody involved, and I know he's looking to rectify that, and I'm looking to help him in any way I can to rectify that. Conference obviously had a solid race. You know, you're looking at him at this point to try to press for the conference championship individually. You know, so Derek's huge for us. Nathaniel Aguilar, that is plenty talented enough to make a name on his own right if he chooses to do so. He's going to be huge for us. Luis is going to be huge for us in terms of what he brings to the table. Luis just needs to get fit. You know, he came in very unfit, and you know, it's unfortunate, but now what is he going to do about it? And that's what we're looking now to, you know, looking for out of him at this point. Patrick Busolo is going to be big for us. I mean, you know, we got a lot of guys that it's time for them to kind of take the next step. Then you've got Justin and then Tristan. You know, all the returns that we've got, I think, have things you know, left on the table that we need to go after. I mean, so far, you know, every year for the past few years, it's come down to us and Wiley, and I don't think that changes. You know, you're looking at a team like Southwest, who kind of came out of nowhere over the past couple of years. You know, you would expect that they'd continue on in that path. You know, Shreveport on some level, particularly with their depth, has been impressive the last year for sure. And, you know, I know they've got a coach in place that is putting a little bit more emphasis into it than probably was being put into it. But I think your pecking order in terms of who's going to win it is probably us and Wiley. And Wiley each year, quite frankly, you're not really sure what they're going to bring to the meet, and so we tell our kids every year, expect anything from them. You know, be ready to take their best shot no matter who they've got, and then don't take it for granted. You know, we got to show up and take care of business. You know, we can't take care of anybody else's business. The only thing we can do is make sure that we show up the best we can be, and you know, hopefully that's enough. My understanding is Wiley is hosting it there in Marshall on the same course that East Texas Baptist uses for their invitational, and they might have had a conference championship out there for their conference as well. I'm not sure on that, but it is an established course, so to speak. But yeah, Wiley's hosting that, and that's just fine. You know, I feel like it was probably time for us to pass the torch a little bit. You know, hosting meets is nice because you're here, but on the coaching end, it adds so much more, you know, complexity to what's going on around you, and trying to focus in on hosting a quality meet and trying to focus in on your team is difficult, so it'll be nice to show up and run and not have to worry about that aspect of it. Our first meet has now become an annual affair. It's our OLLU invite. It's a great event. We've been at Windcrest now for 3 years. The city and the golf course there do a fine job for us, and it's a great venue for, having cross-country meets. And the first meet, the OLLU invite, looks to be perhaps the biggest meet we've had so far. So far, in terms of what I'm hearing from who's entering, it should be a little bit bigger event than it has been in the past. And so we're looking forward to that. The second one is really a meet that was born out of us not getting the conference championship. We're obligated to give Windcrest 2 meets, and I wanted to do 2 meets that are anyhow, and so it just made sense to, instead of having to travel for a meet, to just go ahead and host another one. And Windcrest was on board with that, and we're excited to do that one as well. That one we're calling the Saints invite. I know, very creative, but we're looking forward to it. And so far the interest on that one's been good too. What's interesting about that one is because it's on a different date, we're actually drawing teams that we've never seen before, and so that's exciting. I don't know if the second one will be as big as the first one, but we'll definitely have teams that we don't typically see. We've been successful, and there's something to be said about that, and we've always maintained a certain level of quality that I feel like the community should be excited to see, and obviously cross-country meets aren't necessarily the most exciting thing to watch, but at the same time our course is a good course and it's a fan-friendly course. There's a lot of opportunity to see the runners, and it's different. It's not the same old. You come out and it's how many people have even been to cross-country meets? So I'd encourage everybody to at least come try it out and support us just as everybody else is supported.